We appreciate you guys joining us. Today, we're going to be focused on CompleteView. I'm Jason Schimpf. I head up the Partner Programs and Education, and I will be your host today. First and foremost, on behalf of everyone at AMAG, we hope that you, your family, your friends, and all of your coworkers are healthy and safe through this pandemic right now. And we hope that all of you that are impacted by the frigid cold weather, the snow, and the ice, that you guys get some heat and power as soon as possible. It actually has had an impact on us here at AMAG with this webinar specifically. We had to make a couple last-minute changes, so we don't expect any glitches, but hopefully everything will go nice and smooth. So we have a lot of great things going on here at AMAG, and these webinars provide important corporate updates, drive awareness to AMAG's new products and features, share best practices, and dive into unique product features that will help you differentiate your company from others when you team up with us. If you have any questions today, please type them into the question box, and we'll address as many as we can during this WebEx. And any of those that we don't get a chance to, we'll follow up with them. We'll follow up with you after the fact, one-on-one. Host for presenting today, we've got Jonathan Moore, a recurring guest. He'll be presenting the CompleteView 5.3 update. And then I'll take it back over for one slide to talk a little bit about the training options for CompleteView. And then batting cleanup today, we've got Cami Dukes. Over the last 5 years, AMAG's grown beyond access control to transform ourselves into a total solution provider, focusing on reducing cost, mitigating risk, and increasing compliance with external regulation. In other previous webinars, we briefly introduced what AMAG is doing in different areas of our business beyond access control to help our channel and help our end users solve problems in becoming an end-to-end solution provider with a robust ecosystem of best-of-breed technology partners. All of those webinars and much more are available for free on our YouTube channel, which you can see at the bottom of the page right there. Again, if you have any questions, please type them into the question box. We'll address as many as we can. Let's go ahead and turn it over to Jonathan to get started. Jonathan?
Perfect. Thanks, Jason, and good afternoon from the East Coast, at least, to everybody who joined today. Thank you very much for joining in and listening to the webinar. As Jason said, I'm Jonathan Moore. I'm VP of Product Management here at AMAG. And today's webinar session, we're going to cover the latest release, version 5.3 of CompleteView 2020. So as I'm sure most of you probably know, CompleteView is AMAG's premier video management system. We had a complete overhaul of this application about 18 months to 2 years ago, where we went from version 4 to version 5. And CompleteView at that time was relabeled as CompleteView 2020. So our version 5 and beyond releases, we refer to as CompleteView 2020 as part of the solution. So the Symmetry CompleteView video management system is obviously part of AMAG's overall product and security portfolio that includes our access control solution. Obviously, CompleteView is very tightly integrated into the AMAG Symmetry access control platform. We're actually working on several enhancements that are coming up in the next couple of months that is improving and even tightening that integration even further that we'll be talking about on one of these upcoming webinars. So CompleteView is obviously integrated very tightly into the access control system. It's also integrated very tightly into our control room command and control solution. So this is a very important part of the AMAG portfolio and a very, very fast growing, if not the fastest growing product that we have on the market today. So what we're going to be talking about today is version 5.3 specifically, which is actually being released this week from AMAG. You may see some marketing notices go out today. That software is in the process of being uploaded to our partner portal at the moment. So it should be there very, very shortly. And from a development and release standpoint, we're starting to standardize the CompleteView releases on a roughly quarterly basis at this point. So version 5.3 effectively represents the first quarterly release of 2021 for AMAG. And we would expect 5.4 to be coming in Q2 and 5.5 in Q3 and so on. So we're moving to a sort of regular release cadence on a roughly quarterly basis where we will be producing several new features per release. So I would encourage everybody to keep an eye on those emails that come from AMAG with what's new. And as each quarterly release comes out this year, you'll see an email notification come with those. So version 5.1 and 5.2. 5.1 was a fairly large release that came out. Then 5.2 was a number of smaller enhancements that actually came out, and that was at the end of 2020. That was in Q4 that 5.2 came out. There were some notable features in there, and because we haven't done we haven't talked about CompleteView in a few months, I'll touch on that as well. So version 5.2, there were some very important enhancements to notifications. I think, if you're on this call, you've probably experienced the issue with receiving too many notifications from a system. So a good example of this would be if a camera has a tentative, not very good connection, you might see the camera going online and then offline and then online and offline, those sorts of things. And you may be getting notifications every single time that happens. And if it's happening a lot, you're going to get a lot of emails. So 5.2, we had a lot of enhancements around that sort of thing, where you could throttle the amount of notifications and things you were receiving for those sorts of errors. So you could set a max limit, or you could say only send me one every X number of minutes, that sort of thing. So that's what we saw in version 5.2. Now let's touch on very quickly on version 5.3. As I say, that's coming out this week. So there are four major categories that I want to touch on today, and major feature sets that we're going to go through. The first one being a new web client that's released as part of this release, so it's a big deal. A new mobile application that has been released as part of version 5.3, another pretty large deal. We've now released the ability to support multiple languages that I'm going to talk about today. And then we have a number of other smaller enhancements to the UI and to various integrations and things that I'll touch on as well. So let's jump to the next slide and actually jump into some of these features. Thanks, Jason. So let's start off with the new web client that has been released. So as part of version 5.3, for the more technical people on the call, this is a new HTML5 capable web client. And without getting too technical, basically this means that modern web browsers like your Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome and the other browsers that we're all familiar with, support HTML5 capability. So effectively, the new web client is compatible with modern web browsers that support HTML5. What this also means for you is that the HTML5 means that we don't necessarily have to deploy any local client software onto that client machine. We can make use of the technology within the web browser itself to provide you this web client. You don't have to go and install an add-on or something like that to take use of it or make use of it. Talking about the client itself, what's really good about the new release is it essentially or effectively adopts the configuration that is made within the normal user interface of the product. So all the search options, the graphical maps, the user setup itself, that's all being done in the main client, is automatically pulled effectively into the web client. So you're making use of the same views and graphical maps and things like that you would through the regular client. You can now make use of as part of the web client as well. So that's a really big deal. This also expands the places that CompleteView can actually be used, because obviously these web clients can now be deployed onto perhaps a Linux machine or a Mac operating system, those sorts of things, rather than a pure Windows client now using this web browser. So obviously the initial release of the web client is in 5.3, but we're going to be developing this out as part of the normal roadmap as we go. But a really exciting deployment. And one more thing to touch on, but very important, it's obviously security. So that web browser does support standard TLS encryption that can be used with it. So we know that we're doing that browsing, we're using that client from different locations, but in a very secure manner. So with that, let's jump to the next slide and look at some of the other new features that have been brought out. So sort of a closely related cousin to the web client, we have a new mobile application that has been released for the Apple iOS operating system to start with. Brand new CompleteView mobile application that has come out. And as you can see on the mobile app there, pretty full functionality that you can see. You can see the different views and maps and recordings, cameras, and some configuration that is available from here as well. Jason, if you just click once, the screen should update. And there we go. Thank you. We can see the actual video that's on that mobile application as well. So once again, just like the web client, there's a comprehensive feature-rich release that we've produced here that allows you to make use of the existing maps, recorded video, and other configurations that are available through the regular user interface are now being pulled down into the mobile app automatically. So it's very easy if you're an existing user of CompleteView to extend that into the mobile app and make use of this application moving forward. So just to touch on a couple of things here, you may have questions around this. We do have the old legacy TouchView mobile app that is still supported as part of the product line, but that app is becoming the legacy mobile application that is available. Moving forward, this CompleteView Mobile will be the standard moving forward for the product line. So obviously would encourage new users to adopt the CompleteView Mobile app itself. Final point to note, the initial release of CompleteView Mobile, this new mobile app, is only available in the Apple App Store today. We obviously still have the TouchView legacy app that's available in both Apple or Android environments, but the intention is definitely to release CompleteView Mobile into the Android App Store as well as part of a future release. So just realize that that's coming in future. But very exciting, brand new, complete overhaul of the mobile application. That's now available as of the latest release. Let's jump to the next slide. Perfect. So touching on another major feature that has come out in 5.3, really feature-rich release that we've got, is the support for multiple languages. So we've effectively done all the groundwork at this stage, which is not insignificant, to be able to support multiple languages within the application. As part of the initial release of support for multiple languages, we released the product with both Spanish and simplified Chinese languages on top of obviously English that has always been available. So that has all been released as part of this, as just those two new languages. But effectively, more languages will be released in each upcoming quarterly release as we go. You'll start to see more and more languages coming out and being released. So obviously, we would look for feedback from you, our customers out there, to understand the priority of different languages and that sort of thing as well. So we'd encourage you to provide feedback to your local sales resources and people you're in contact with at AMAG. If you have a project that requires multiple languages or a specific language that you need supported, we'd really like to hear from you on that one as well. And let's jump just to the last slide. So here, just going to touch on a couple of the enhancements that have been made to the primary desktop user interface at this point, and some of the other features that have come as part of version 5.3. And Jason, if you just want to click twice kind of slowly, there's a couple of different screens that'll come up. Perfect. These show you different views, different aspects of the application. That's great. So one of the features, this is actually on the screen at the moment, where the configuration is the ability to show or hide the actual camera number or camera ID that was in the software. So if you're familiar with the solution, and other solutions had this sort of issue as well, it's more of just an annoyance, I think. But when cameras are added to the system, traditionally they're assigned a number: camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 16, et cetera, et cetera. So the system was being very helpful in auto-numbering the cameras. The problem was, once they were numbered, that number became effectively part of the name and part of the sorting of those cameras. So if you wanted to sort alphabetically, Well, camera number 1 was invariably coming up first because of the numbering. So we've added the ability now to be able to ignore that camera ID effectively, and allows you to now sort and search your cameras in a much more easier fashion at this point, is what I'd touch on. And then one of the other areas that we've been looking at is recording failures and detection there. So we've improved our detection and logging of failures to record video with the solution itself. And this is an area just in general, strategically, we've been looking at in some detail lately, and I would expect more work to be done in this area as well, because it's so important. We've got feedback from our customers that effectively how important it is to know, and this should be obvious, how important it is to know the moment a camera stops recording, the moment we have an issue. We have customers that for their own sort of contractual purposes or compliance requirements, they may be subject to penalties, to fees, when if a camera is down for long enough, if recording is not occurring, if there's these sorts of problems. So this is an area we're looking at in very, very closely to make sure we're doing everything we can to notify you the moment something goes wrong. So that's why you see that up on the screen. And then finally, but once again, not least importantly, we have a wide variety of new integrations that are supported, a number of new cameras, a number of updates to existing integrations that is available as part of this release as well. A lot of things that I have not mentioned as part of 5.3, I've really just touched on the highlights. So if you're looking for more information or you have questions, please reach out and we'll get you that. Final thing I will touch on, just a reminder, version 5.3 will be out at the latest, will be by the end of this week, if not sooner. So thanks again for listening, and over to you, Jason.
Excellent. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. I've got one slide on here just to make sure everybody knows how they can get trained up on CompleteView. As Jonathan was mentioning before, we do work closely with Salient, who is our OEM provider of the software, on a lot of different areas, including for the training. So we team up with them and actually leverage their training for our customers. So there are two different options that are available. One is the full certification course if you need certification. That is a 2-day interactive class that is instructor-led, all online, remote, where you have access to live IP cameras, hands-on, with Mark Call and his team over at Salient. The cost for that is on the screen right there for the 2-day course. The other option for training is you can do an on-demand overview and tutorials. Now, this isn't the full certification course. These are some tutorials and overviews to give you enough information to understand the software, how it works, and maybe some recaps if you need to go back in and remember how to do a few things. So all of those are available through Salient's webpage. If you look on the right side there at the top right of the Salient page, you'll see there's a support dropdown, and the second last option in that dropdown, it says training resources and video tutorials. You click on that, it takes you to a page where you can get access to both of these different trainings, signing up for it and such. And then finally, you've got the advanced course. That is coming soon. The advanced course is hot off the press. It's not actually available today. It will be available in the second quarter, so more details will follow about that. So now I'm going to turn it over to Cami to tell us a little bit about our Security Engineering Symposium. Cami?
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that, Jason. And we are very excited for this year's Security Engineering Symposium. It's our 21st annual event. And while we typically find ourselves spending an entire weekend with everybody's spouses being there, having a great weekend of networking and education, we are doing it virtual. And I'm very grateful that we're doing it virtual because I don't think anybody could get on a plane this year with all of the snow and ice. So tomorrow it is being held February 17th from 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this year's discussion and theme is really going to be around crisis management and how we are helping our customers to better utilize technology, help us innovate more in times of crisis, and really help to deliver things in a collaborative manner to crisis and risk management teams to ultimately protect the brand in troubling times. So the event is just packed with a full agenda with a highly charged keynote speaker. I'm very excited to listen to Melissa Agnes. She is a crisis management expert, followed by Robert Dodge. He's the president of our G4S Corporate Risk Services, who has real life experiences sometimes I find it hard to believe he's followed through on some of these experiences. So it'll be really educational. We'll have AMAG's leadership in a roundtable or a panel, engaging with the audience, trying to find that next thought leadership and help us innovate more. And then we'll all get together for a happy hour and some entertaining trivia. So if you have any questions about the Security Engineering Symposium, I do ask that you reach out to your respective regional sales manager or business development manager. They'd be happy to provide you with more information for you to join us.
Excellent. Thank you, Cami. I appreciate that. And that concludes our webinar. So I want to thank Cami and Jonathan for co-hosting. There was a couple questions that came in. We're going to address those after the webinar, either via email or reach out to everybody individually to chat about those questions. We're having a couple technical issues, as I mentioned before, so we'll get back to you on that one. So as always, if you have any other questions after this webinar, feel free to reach out to your local salesperson. This webinar and all previous versions of the webinar are available on the YouTube channel, which is on the bottom right of your screen right there. As soon as this webinar ends, a short survey will pop up in your browser. 2 or 3 questions. Please take a moment to fill that out. We're always looking to enhance what information we're delivering to you, so looking forward to getting your feedback on that. Again, stay healthy, stay safe, stay warm in this crazy environment. Our next webinar will be on March 16th, same time at 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Stay healthy, stay safe, and thanks for joining us. Take care.